Great thanks to everybody for attending today, this theatrical piece. I'm sure the O'Rahilly and his comrades could never have imagined that a century later his fatal charge against the Crown forces in Parnell Street would be recreated here today. So to have even managed that is a wonderful thing to do in commemoration or remembrance of one of the bravest of the brave, the O'Rahilly. So good evening on you. I was grateful to be given an opportunity recently to speak at the scene of one of the great battles of the 1916 Rising, described so well and in such great detail in a new publication, When the Clock Struck in 1916, published by the Collins Press. I was honoured to be invited to formally launch it at the schoolhouse in Lower Mount Street. The Battle of Mount Street, one of the epic battles, the many epic battles of 1916. There are 32 locations in our capital city directly linked to the Rising. 19 have been demolished completely. Many of those that remain have been altered, some unrecognisable, others remain threatened by the wrecking ball. Most notably, this very street. The last headquarters of the 1916 Provisional Government and location where 5 of the signatories to our proclamation spent their last hours of freedom before their brutal execution by firing squad. These houses are our houses of history, but they do not belong to us as such. They are held by us in trust for future generations. Easter Rising was the seminal moment in Irish history, when against all odds a remarkable army of men and women fought in the cause of Irish freedom, theirs and ours. It was, and it is, our revolution. A revolution against colonial rule, oppression and conquest. When the Clock Struck captures that moment, taking its title from one of the great quotes of the Rising, from one of its greatest heroes, the O'Rahilly. Since I helped to wind the clock, I have come to hear it strike. As he lay dying, he penned a final note to his wife. Written after I was shot, he wrote, "Darling Nancy, I was shot leading a rush up Moore Street and took refuge in a doorway. While I was there, I heard the men pointing out where I was, and I made a bolt for the laneway I am in now. I got more than one bullet, I think. Tons and tons of love to you, dearie, and to the boys, and to Nell and Anna. It was a good fight, anyhow." The power of the written word. Where the O'Rahilly fell and wrote those poignant words, the O'Rahilly Lane of history, sacred ground, was to become a vehicular entrance to a Celtic Tiger shopping mall. A greater insult to a hero of our history you could not envisage. It was to, until Dublin City Council refused the infamous land swap of 2425, the last 2 houses in this terrace, which were to be swapped for control of the National Monument 14 to 17, in a land deal that would have meant that this entire area would have been subjected to a wrecking ball. We'd have been left with 4 houses in the middle of this street destroyed forever, this street destroyed for future generations. Sinn Féin led the debate against that disposal. Sinn Féin, along with Fianna Fáil, the Green Party, People Before Profit, refused point blank to buckle and to agree the proposed land swap that would have seen this historic ground destroyed. And for them, to them, we give them thanks.
Hear, hear.
Let it be seen on the public record. We applaud Sinn Féin and those parties for their principled stand. And we commend Sinn Féin today for remembering the gallant O'Rahilly. Well done to Nicky Keogh and his workers. It is said, and the polls are showing, that there's going to be a couple of more charges in the future. The late Sean Cronin wrote of the men and women of 1916. None considered himself a hero, but all were heroes. There were fewer than 900 of them, and they challenged an empire. They were ordinary men, and their military training was minimal. In that lies their glory. They believed that Ireland should be free. In that lies their greatness. None greater than the O'Rahilly. We salute him today. Gormina Mahali.